How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Once again, super early in the morning. I'm exhausted. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but we're sending it. We're gonna go pick up my friend Makana, and we're gonna shoot it out to a zone that I haven't had a chance to dive in a pretty long time. You know, as far as what this spot has, it's got, I mean, I've seen a little bit of everything over there. I've seen moo, goats, ukus occasionally, so not too sure what we're gonna shoot, but hopefully we can shoot something nice. Makana's gonna 3-prong pretty much the whole time. I might let him use my gun, but he doesn't actually have a gun. He's pretty new to diving, but he can dive deep. It's just he's just new to the actual spearfishing part of it. But we're gonna get him on some fish, hopefully get some reds, some menpachis and stuff, and then we'll shoot it out to some deeper water and try and get something else. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll see you guys in the water. Shoot. So to start off the dive, me and Makana were going after menpachis. So I'm looking in this hole here. I didn't record a lot of the menpachi that we shot, just because that wasn't really the focus of this video, but I'm looking in this hole here, trying to spot a big pachi. And I see a big toal come right up to the end of my 3-prong, so I just let it fly and took this nice toal off the reef. So here's one menpachi that Makana shot. He got about 5 of them this dive. You can see there's another one on his belt kui right there. So I'm going down here on another cave. Look inside that angle. Wasn't really seeing too much, so I kind of make my way over to the other side of this rock. And then I immediately spot this nice toal come out, so I line up. And then he comes back around, and I get a nice shot off on him. So on our way out, I spotted this taco sitting just outside of his hole. So I borrowed Makana's 3-prong because I had hung mine up on the buoy and started to poke this guy out. He was being a little stubborn though, and he was pretty smart. The way his hole was designed, it had a little bend at the back of it, so he could kind of get over to the side, so I couldn't really poke him super well. But trying to get him out here, and eventually I find the sweet spot and he comes right out, so I grab him. Nice taco. Gonna be good bait or good popcorn taco. If you guys want me to do a taco catch and cook, let me know. I'm down to do one of those. I haven't made one in a very long time, since like the start of my channel. But yeah, if that's something you guys would want, let me know and I'll make one of those. So as we were going out, the current was kind of pulling us, but luckily it pulled us right over this nice structure here in some deeper water. So I took a blind drop in about 60-ish, 65 feet, and this white tip sneaks right up on me from around this rock. And he turns there, gets a little bit too close, but luckily I didn't even have to poke him. He got scared and turned around. Then I started going up because I wasn't really seeing anything. So right here, I took another blind drop. This was a little bit deeper, maybe closer to 70, so in between 65 and 70. And I hit the bottom here. Start grunting, trying to see if there was any ukus or anything like that, any big jacks. And I see a uku sitting behind me. But I'm trying not to stare at him because I want him to come over in front of me and give me a better shot so I don't have to turn around. You can see him again right there. So I started turning my body a little bit, but I don't want to turn all the way around, especially because he seems like he's coming towards the front of me. So now I'm facing him and he starts coming right in. So I line up, take a shot, and I could tell from that spurt of blood from right as soon as I shot him that I hit him in the gills. So it was a good holding shot. He starts running. It was kind of weird. He didn't run straight out. He kind of just ran in a little bit of a circle there. Little half circle. I started making my way back up to the surface. There was a ton of hoggies sitting in the mid water column. And you'll see here in a second, they're like piranhas. They go after my uku here. You can see one right there. But I cut the clip, but on the way up, as I was pulling this uku up to me, all those hoggies that are sitting a little bit higher than the other ones were chasing him up, trying to take bites out of him. I don't even know. But they're really like just the piranhas of the ocean. But a nice little uku down. Gonna make some good sosh. So on this drop, I saw another pair of what I thought were ukus swimming, you know, about the level that ukus swim at, and you can see one right there. But as I look off into the distance at where I thought the other one was, I start to realize that he looks a little bit different, and I'll zoom in here so you can see it a little bit better. You can see him right there. It's kind of hard to make out, but I could see this big tail kind of fanning out, and he was really bright silver like a uku, but he was more narrow towards the front of his body. And so I was kind of going through my head of what it could possibly be, but the only thing that I really landed on was a Lehi. Like, it's got to be a Lehi. And so I make another drop. Again, I've only seen one Lehi in my entire life. I've never seen any other ones before. They usually live super deep, so I don't have a lot of experience with them, so it was hard for me to ID him right off this first drop here. But on this next drop, I didn't want to take a chance, you know, miss my opportunity at a Lehi just because I don't know what it actually is. So I dropped down again, and this time I try to keep my eyes down a little bit more to see if that would help. And I started dusting, I started grunting, and eventually he starts to come in here, and he comes real close, and I could see that big tail again. But I line up, take my shot. Once I saw that big tail, I kind of had a feeling that it was almost certainly a Lehi. He looked almost exactly like a Wahanui, but just that tail kind of gave him away to where I started shifting more towards Lehi. But look at this again. Another hoggy is trying to eat my fish here. It's super weird to see them go crazy like that, especially because they're not, you know, it's not like they're a shark or anything like that that will really tax you. They're just these little fish, and they try and take chunks out of the fish that you shoot. It's super weird to me. But yeah, I was getting this guy up to the surface, and I was getting more and more convinced that I had just shot a Lehi, and I started losing my mind.
Bro, I just got a Lehi! Holy sh! Bro, Makana, give me that! Woo!
So obviously you could tell I was super stoked to shoot this fish. It's one of my bucket list fish. And like I said, when I first shot it, I was almost 100% sure that it was a Lehi. But as the dive went on, as we started swimming ashore, I kept looking at it, and I was almost convincing myself that it was a Waihana. I was kind of psyching myself out a little bit, but you know, because I've never held one before. I've only ever seen them once. Never held one up close, so I really had no idea if it was actually a Lehi or not. But I was holding on to the hope that it was a Lehi and not a Waihana, and so that was kind of where my head was at going into shore. Was, man, is this really the fish that I want, or is it something else?
All right, guys, we're back from the dive. I'm absolutely exhausted. So is Makana. We just swam through a whole bunch of current to get back in, but it was worth it. We got a lot of fish in this cooler right here. We got a bunch of reds and the uku, nice size uku and a taco. But this right here, I believe is a Lehi. Now, Lehi, for those of you guys who don't know, is one of those deep bottom fish like onaga, opakapaka, those kinds of things. This guy is one of those, or at least I think he is. A lot of times Waihanais and Lehis get confused. Waihana is like a reef snapper, not really good eating, but this guy is, if he's a Lehi, is really good eating. So I'm really scared though that he might be a Waihana. In the water, I've seen one Lehi before in my entire life in the water. I never shot it. So this guy looked like the same thing, but now that he's dead, his colors have changed a little bit, and I'm kind of scared that he might be a Waihana. So, and like I said, never shot one. I've never held one before in my life. I've never seen one in person. I've seen pictures and everything like that. So I'm hoping this guy is a Lehi, but I'm gonna call my friend. He's a real good deep bottom fisherman, and he's dealt with these guys a lot and some other similar species. So he knows way more about this than I do, and he's handled a lot more of these than I have. So I'm gonna call him up right now and get him to ID this thing for me. And fingers crossed it's not a freaking Waihana, but I think I'm 90% sure it's a Lehi. But yeah, I'm gonna call him up real quick and we'll find out for sure. Sup, Micah? Okay, I shot something and I don't know if it's a Waihana or if it's a Lehi, and I know you've seen Lehis before, so I need you to help me ID this right here.
Yeah, it's a Lehi, bro.
No way, it's a Lehi? Yes, so! Woo! Yeah, thanks, Micah.
Yes, sir.
Shoes, bro. Alright, guys, you heard it. It's a Lehi. Let's go! Woo!
Alright guys, so I'm on my way right now to go to my friend Micah's house. He's been in a few of my videos before. You know, I've gone diving with him a couple times, and also he does my gyotakus for me. And so, of course, you know, a fish as memorable and as rare as this Lehi, I gotta get it printed, especially because I'm probably never ever gonna shoot one again. So I'm gonna go over to his place right now, get this Lehi printed, and then we're gonna clean it up and cook it later tonight. So I'll see you guys there. guys, so this is the Lehi right here. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Look at that mouth too. Got a big old mouth. But yeah, this right here, I'm just gonna go talk about it a little bit more because for those of you like me who have never seen one or have barely seen any and never dealt with them before, maybe this information will be interesting for you guys. So Lehi are one of what we call the deep 7. Now the deep 7 are just 7 species of really deep water snappers and other different fish species that we catch here, and they live anywhere from like 300 to 700-ish feet, sometimes a little more, but that's your onagas, pakas, gindai, like those kinds of fish, and these guys live with them. So you can imagine why spear fishermen hardly ever shoot them. It's because they're usually way too deep for anyone to even, touch the bottom. But Lehis are actually known to come in shallow, despite being one of the rarest deep bottom fish that fishermen actually catch. They're so they're one of the rarest. People don't catch them super often as much as like onagas and opakapakas. So despite being one of the rarest of this deep 7, they're one of the only species that's known to actually come in shallow and be shot by spear fishermen, shot and seen by spear fishermen. And so you'll get a handful of guys like every so often that'll shoot some of them, and I got lucky enough to be one of those guys today. Now this guy isn't very big. He's maybe 3 pounds, and deep bottom fish actually tend to weigh light, so this guy is probably around 3 pounds, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, I'm not too sure. But yeah, this honestly for me is the fish of a lifetime, and I'm so stoked. The English name I believe is iron jaw snapper, or some people call them rusty jobfish, kind of like ukus are called green jobfish. So they're similar species. It's a species of snapper, but really good eating, like similar to onagas and opakapakas. They're very good eating. But yeah, so stoked to not only shoot one, but to do it on a shore dive and in like 70 feet of water. Just so stoked, man. Like the fish of a lifetime, genuinely. And it's my first one ever and probably my last one ever as well, but I'm cool with that, as I got to check it off my bucket list, and if I shoot another one day it'll be sick, but if I don't, it is what it is. I got one and I'm so stoked on it. Yes sir. All right, we're gonna get it cleaned up and cook it up. One last look at this beautiful fish before I get it cleaned up. Such a cool looking fish. Never seen or never held one before, so it's so cool to be handling basically a new species. But man, they're such a cool looking fish. That big mouth. But I mentioned earlier in the video that they oftentimes get confused for wahanuis, and they do look quite similar. But there's a few things that you can see on their body about their physical features that will allow you to be able to tell which one is which. And one of those things, the most obvious thing the way that I was able to tell that this was a Lehi and not a wahanui was this tail right here. Wahanuis don't have as long of a tail as Lehis do. Their tail is more shorter. It cuts off like right there, and they have a shallower fork. Lehi's got a deeper fork and these two fins that kind of fan out, and they get really long here. And this guy actually has a split tail. It's broken right there. Don't know how that happened, but that's one way. Another way is their jaw, their bottom jaw right here. On a Lehi, it's very prominent. It's a lot longer. It sticks out a lot more, as you can see there, almost like in a veil with a steeper mouth, because it kind of looks like their mouth is facing upwards, right? And it's very tall as well, and it's got this nice silver color. Then also, I mean, you guys saw in the video, they look very silver when they're alive and in the water, and that's when they're young. When they get bigger, they look darker, but when they're younger, they're very silver. But when you shoot them, they have this really nice reddish brown color here.
But yeah, that's a few ways you can tell the difference. But we're gonna get this guy cleaned up. He looks so cool. I almost don't want to cut him, but we got to, because I'd love to eat him also, as cool as he looks. And we got a gyotaku, so it's all right. But yeah, we're gonna clean this guy up. I'm gonna try to be very careful here because I do not want to waste any of this fish. So we're gonna go nice and slow. And patient. So we got all the fish cleaned up, the lehi and the uku. We're gonna take them over to my friend Danny's house. I'm getting ready right now. You guys probably remember Danny. He was in one of my uku videos where we shot a bunch of ukus from shore. So he's gonna be there. A few of his friends are gonna be there, as well as my girlfriend and Race. You guys remember Race? He's been in a bunch of my videos before, making an appearance again, but this time just eating fish. But yeah, I'm super excited to try the lehi. I've never ever had them before. So I'm really stoked. I'm really looking forward to it. This is the most I've looked forward to eating fish in a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna head over there right now and let's cook this thing up.
I mean, again, comes to the house. I'll be here with you. And
That's good, yeah.
that's big.
Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Genuinely one of the best fish that I've ever shot in my entire life. One of my favorite catches ever. And definitely one I'll remember for the rest of my life. I probably won't shoot another one, but that's okay. You know, I got one, and that's more than enough for me, honestly. And eating it, man, it is one of the best, if not the best fish I've ever cooked up and eaten. It is hard to describe how good it is. But, you know, if you have friends that bottom fish, or if you ever see one of these, catch one. Try your best to shoot one, because I promise it is worth it. You know, no fish worth your life. Obviously, don't risk your life to shoot one. But, you know, if you can shoot one, do it. And if you have friends, or you bottom fish and you catch one, or you have friends that bottom fish and they catch one and they offer to you, say yes and try it because it is so good. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Remember, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps me out a lot, and I appreciate every single one of you for watching. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you in the next one. Shoots.